Welcome, ghosts, back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This is the top 10 things we don't want to see in a new game. I'm sure all of you have heard about Project Over by now. It is the code name for what we believe, if you listen to leaks, what the name of the new game is. Well, it's code name anyway. Now, we don't know what kind of state the game is currently in or how far away it is. It could be announced next week. It could be announced in a year. Who knows? But one thing's for sure is that looking through the comments from videos over the past X number of years, especially since Breakpoint and before since Wildlands, there are certain things that I think people really don't want to see return into a new game. So we thought we would look at those things and just in small detail, and we'd really like to know whether you agree with them, disagree with them. Some of these are my own personal opinion, and some of these are based off of, like I said, comments, things like that, things that people said in the Discord, links in the description below if you want to join, and just on general comments on videos that we've done over the years. So let's start this off. These are in no particular order. They're just a top 10, okay? The first one being something that was added at the end of Breakpoint's life cycle, and that is Ubisoft Quartz and NFTs. First of all, the idea of NFTs, I think, as most gamers, they don't like it. Yes, some people did purchase a few, but from what we heard from the statistics, that not many NFTs were purchased at all for Breakpoint. It's just a part of gaming. We've had a lot with DLCs and all the rest of it, and the way that, you know, loot boxes, all the ways that games have been monetized, and NFTs was just too far. It went too far. We do not want to see anything like NFTs, and I think we just get that one straight out of the way. No, thank you. We don't want it. Number two, this is my opinion and many others' opinion, and that is gear score. It's been brought up by lots of people. But, you know, when it comes down to it, a Ghost Recon game, if you look at the type of game that you actually want, whether it be Wildlands or any of the games that came before it, gear score shouldn't be a part of those games. It's not the Division. I get that there are people that like gear score, and I'm not knocking you at all. But I think overall, I think most people would agree, the general consensus is gear score shouldn't be there. It doesn't fit into the world. You don't want to be swapping gear out all the time, weapons and all the rest of it. It shouldn't work like that, especially when, you know, you come up against a gear scored enemy of 150, but yeah, it doesn't matter what rank they are, you can still shoot them in the head and kill them anyway. It makes it kind of pointless. So no gear score, please. Now, another one that's come up a lot is always online. Lots of people, this would be number 3, lots of people saying that obviously they prefer to have an offline mode, because for obvious reasons, if something goes wrong with the servers, etc., they can still play the game. Now, obviously, with the way games are made these days, that happening is probably slim, because if you want a game with a big life cycle, with plenty of DLCs, constantly updated, things like that, it probably has got to be always online. But I'm just going by the number of times I've seen this in the comments. So many people do not want an always online game. And I can see the benefits of not having that and the benefits of having that. But this is one that we've put in there. Let us know what you think. Do you want to see an offline mode at least added? So have always online, but with an offline mode. Let us know what you think. Number 4 is raids. Now, the raid in the game, obviously we know the others were cancelled because they didn't go down too well. I've raided myself. I enjoyed it to a degree, but it's not really my thing. I enjoyed the teamwork and the camaraderie and the fun I had that raid, not really with the actual raid itself. They were a bit boring. So, can raids work? Yes, definitely they can. I don't know if anyone's played the raid on Modern Warfare. It's quite fun. Raids can work. It maybe call them something else, I don't know. But if it was done in a more militaristic style, not against futuristic kind of drone tech and that kind of stuff, they could work. But I think overall people don't want that style of gaming within Ghost Recon, and I tend to agree with them. This one could be controversial because I think there could be a mix on this, and I actually think more people might like this one than not. But number 5 for me would be RPG mechanics. I've seen a lot of people say they don't like them. The RPG mechanics don't work that well, I don't think. I don't want to be spending loads of time running around gathering up things laying around on the floor and then crafting them and stuff like that. Yes, you need to be able to pick things up. You need to be able to pick up ammo. You need to be able to pick up weapons, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure I want to be able to. I'm not sure I want to be picking up different types of stones and fauna, and I just don't really see the point. And I think they were so light. And yes, some light RPGs can work, but it was so light on RPG that it didn't feel like it really worked for me. So that's something I would prefer to not see return. Though if it's done right, it could work, to be fair. Number 6 kind of fits in a bit with the raid, and that is futuristic drones. Now, I'm not saying don't have drones in the game, because drones could work, and as you're supposed to be the force that's smaller in number, using more futuristic technology to overcome your opponents, having drone technology seems natural. But the enemy having drones, and drones that you're fighting, robotic style things, big flying monsters almost, and it doesn't feel right. And it doesn't, obviously it depends on the setting of the game, but if you're fighting in somewhere, like imagining Wildlands, if there'd been, big drones, so it wouldn't have fit at all. I get that it did fit in Breakpoint, but I still didn't enjoy the experience overall. So no more futuristic drones for me, for enemies. Now, this one could definitely be controversial, because number 7 is the class system. I understand why there is one. I get the benefits of having a class system, but overall, I would still prefer not to have one. The reason being is, for example, if you have to use the Pathfinder only just to be able to have access to white hot thermal, that I find frustrating. There must be a better way of maybe creating your own class effectively than forcing a class in, or having a class that's based more around natural abilities like medic and things like that than there is the classes that they came up with that for me felt a bit forced and gave you technology that wasn't available in any of the others. I found that kind of quite annoying at times. I would prefer the class system to be removed and you build your own soldier and be able to utilise what you want, whether you give them a certain amount of slots, whatever it may be. But I would prefer that. So for me, no more class system. But let me know what you think. That could be controversial, but it's all about opinions here, and we'd love to hear yours. So number 8, blueprints. Blueprints for me don't work very well in Breakpoint. So the reason why I think this is because let's take something like the M4 platform. I think rather than have whatever it was, I can't remember, 10 different versions of M4s which require 10 different blueprint acquisitions, I would prefer in a new game that a lot of work has been put into the gunsmith, and the gunsmith will be able to give you the choice of building your own M4 based off of one M4 platform, if that makes sense. One blueprint for one M4, and you get to build it how you want to build it with a really in-depth, up-to-date gunsmith. So for me, collecting all those blueprints for the same weapon platform was kind of frustrating, and I didn't like it. So let me know what you think. Number 9 is, well, cosmetics. Not that I don't want cosmetics, because I definitely do. But I don't like some of the fantasy kind of cosmetics. There are certain cosmetics that I personally don't like, and I've seen a lot of people say they don't like kilts and flat caps and things like that. Yes, there needs to be kind of everyday normal streetwear for going undercover, that kind of stuff. But there's too much stuff in there that I think rather than waste their time with those, there was a lot more military style stuff that could have been added, and the work and the time and the effort could have been put into putting those in instead of coming up with some streetwear stuff that I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear some of this stuff, and you just think, what a waste of time. And also the other thing that needs to change, which we definitely don't want, is not being able to fit the cosmetics together properly. So if you're wearing a mask, you can't wear a hood. That's really annoying. You could in other games, I think all the way back to like games like Rainbow Six Vegas, you could do that. So why you can't do that on here is just on Breakpoint was really frustrating. So, you know, you need to be able to fit whatever you want with different characters, whether it be top half, bottom half, head, whatever. They need to be able to work with each other and not be restricted. And that leads into number 10, which is also another restriction, which was really frustrating, which was the restriction there were on weaponry. Now, obviously, hopefully a new gunsmith would fix this problem, but overall, you know, if you have a rail on a gun, you should be able to almost in nearly every circumstance, not all, but nearly every, be able to fit whatever scope, whatever it is you want. It should be able to go on whatever gun you want. You know, you open up a weapon and then suddenly some of the scopes have gone because they're not allowed on that gun. Well, why? Because in real life, you could put it on there if you wanted to. Wildlands was much freer regards to this. It had very few restrictions. Breakpoint, for some reason, had loads of restrictions of what you could and couldn't put, even though in real life it didn't make any sense whatsoever. You know, I don't want to go as far as having a pistol with a 203 grenade launcher on the bottom of it. That's stupid. Though I'm sure some people might go, oh, that could be fun. But no, I don't want to see that. But outside of that, everything that should be able to go on should be able to with zero restrictions. So they're my top 10. Let us know if we think that we've missed anything major or there's something much more important. There are other minor things, you know, like not having the boss mission be open at the beginning. That should never happen. Imagine if you could fight El Sueño within the first 5 minutes of Wildlands. That would be really stupid. Don't know why that happened in Breakpoint. That was odd to me. But they're just little things that, you know, something like that small. But any other ideas that you can think of that you definitely don't want to see in a future game or the game that maybe they're currently making, let us know in the comments below. We'll have a look at that. But thank you so much for watching. Really interested in hearing your opinions. Take care, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.